on my way back from Goodwood from BMW's M track day, and I'm going to tell you why the G87 M2 is the best M car you can buy. So I was very fortunate to be invited by BMW to their M track day at Goodwood, and let me tell you, what a fantastic day for several reasons. Firstly, Goodwood, first time there and first time driving that track, and it's amazing. There is another video either coming or actually it'll be after this one, where I'll try and give you a flavour of what actually happened today. But it was absolutely brilliant, and then getting to drive a range of M cars on that hallowed circuit was just one of the best afternoons I've had. So BMW, they put these track days together for several reasons. Firstly, to thank existing customers and new customers like me, to get people engaged and connected with the brand, to introduce people to the brand, and to really forge that brand loyalty with their existing customer base. And I certainly fall into that category. As regular viewers and subscribers will know, this is my first proper M car, having previously owned a Mini John Cooper Works. Prior to that, a Toyota Supra GR 3-litre Pro with BMW's B58 engine, which was a phenomenal car, shares its platform with the Z4. And in the past, my wife and I have owned a 320D, and I've also had a 120 M Sport. But sitting in this was the ultimate goal. I'd always wanted an M3, but I just don't like four-door cars. So for me, the perfect option would have been a two-door M3. And finally, when they introduced the M2 with the S58 engine, the same engine that's in the M3 and the M4, I had to own one. It's mid-April 2025, and I'm now into my 5th month of ownership with this car, and it has been an absolute joy with zero regrets. I was fortunate enough to have brief time with it on the track a few weeks ago at Bedford Autodrome, but today was the ultimate experience, being able to drive not only the M2 on track, but also to drive a range of other M cars. Now, the one I didn't get to drive today was the M4 competition, which was quite disappointing, but I'm sure I'll have an opportunity in the future. It would have been so nice to compare the M4 to the M2. But I did manage to drive an M135i. I also drove the M3 competition, and then I managed to accidentally get myself into an M2 G87 with a manual gearbox, and that was an experience, let me tell you. So as I said, there will be a longer video about the actual experience day itself. But briefly, my experience of those three cars, the M135i shares its platform with the Mini John Cooper Works, which is a car that I know extremely well, and that was actually a joy to drive. 300 horsepower, so very underpowered compared to my M2, but being in such a small body with a reasonable power to weight ratio, it was very easy, and it was very joyful just to throw around the Goodwood circuit, and it was a great one to start off in to learn the circuit. I then saw an M2 for my second round and stood by it, made sure that I bagged it, and got in and went to start the engine and realised I was sat in a manual gearbox, which was a bit nerve-wracking because I've not driven a manual car for years. But let me tell you, it is literally like riding a bike. You never forget. However, obviously I wasn't used to the short throw gearbox, and with everything else that was going on, having to think about my cornering and racing lines and everything else, having to think about working a clutch and changing gears was just another layer. But there will be a little to camera from me where I do say that for any purists out there that are after a manual gearbox, go for the Z2, the M2, sorry, with the manual, because it's a purist dream. For me personally, for day-to-day use, because I do live in London, so having to contend with 20 miles an hour and traffic, the automatic is the much better option. I've got zero, having driven the manual gearbox now, I've got zero regrets about having an automatic version of the M2. But for purists, don't hesitate to go for the manual gearbox. It's quite a wonderful thing, and obviously a rare thing, because nobody's making cars like that anymore. And then finally I got to drive the daddy, the M3. I have to say, guys and girls, the M3 felt very familiar coming from this M2. I didn't really feel the extra horsepower in the M3. It felt pretty much the same as the M2, but bigger. It's really hard to describe, but it just felt like being in my car. So I think if I ever decided that I wanted a four-door M car, the M3 would be a perfect tiny step up. But I didn't really feel the difference on track between the M3 and the M2. And that actually brings me a lot of comfort, because again, as I've said before, a two-door M3 was the dream for me, and that's what I believe I got with the G87 M2. And that's exactly how I felt after driving the M2 and the M3 straight after one another. Now, when we'd finished our sessions and the day was coming to a close, I hung around with Duncan Ballock, who's the UK head of marketing for BMW, and we were having a chat, and it was really good to connect with him because we'd spoken previously via email and so on. And I was able to really get some insight from him on what BMW are looking to achieve with these types of track days, and where they're sort of headed in the future in terms of client engagement, customer service, seeing clients and car buyers as not just one-off purchases, that, you know, there is a life cycle and a generational thing with owning these types of cars. And I got to speak to some of the other drivers on the day, and they all came off track with really, really good things to say about, as you'd expect, the M3, the M4 competition. We also had an M8 on the track as well. But the funny thing is, everybody said pretty much that the M2 was their favourite because of the combination of the power and the body that this car is wrapped in, that horrible, hideous Lego car-like, poorly redesigned thing that so many people on the internet seem to hate. I'm being sarcastic, by the way, because I absolutely love this car. I love the look of it. But just about everyone said that they felt the M2 had the edge over every single other M car that we all drove today, because of the combination of this wonderful engine paired with this chassis. And that is why I believe that this is the best M car that you can buy, pound for pound as well. That's very important to note. In an ideal world, if money were no object, I probably would have looked seriously at the M4 comp. But by the time you spec'd one of those cars up, it was well over 100k. My wife even saw the M3 in the showroom and said, that looks more practical, why don't we go for one of those? I'd already done the exercise, I'd already spec'd one up, and I was going over 100 grand. This at list 72 got it for, I think it was 65 or 66, maybe 67. I think it was about 66k. That's why I say, pound for pound, this is such great value for an M car. And overall, it just ticks so many boxes. So for those of you that already own the M2, let me know in the comments if you agree. For those of you that have got M2s on order that you are going to be taking delivery of at some point in the coming months, and for those of you that have just taken delivery, because I know there are some of you, our regular viewers now, who are taking delivery this month, April 2025, you are in for such a treat with this car. It's going to put such a smile on your face. I promise you, it's going to bring you so much joy. If you get the chance, the opportunity, if you can create the opportunity to take the car out to a private track and really put it through its paces, once you've done your break-in service, do it. Don't hesitate. Unleash the power of this car and enjoy discovering everything that this amazing car has to offer. I drove an M3 today, and whilst it's a phenomenal car, it didn't give me quite the same amount of excitement and joy that this M2 gives me. The lack of four-wheel drive, this very powerful, slightly tuned up version of the S58 paired with this shorter version of the M4 chassis just makes it the perfect M car, in my opinion, and I'm sure of the opinion in the opinion of a lot of other people. I was also with the owner of Box 3 Motorsport today, co-owner, as I was saying, co-founder Petro, and even he said, and this is a guy who knows his M cars, he even said he preferred the M2 out of every M car that he drove today. So there you go. Those of you who've gone for an M2, if you're wondering if you made the right decision, should you have maybe put some more money down and gone for an M3 or an M4, you made the right choice. You're going to have so much fun, and that's all I can say for now, really. Thank you so much as ever for watching. I appreciate every single one of you. So do John and Alex, as we continue to grow this channel and we continue to grow this little motoring community in this little section of the Tailoring Talk magazine. I'm stuck in traffic on the North Circular Road. I'm very tired. It's been a fantastic day, but I'm just looking forward to getting home now, spending time with my wife and with the dogs and cats, editing this video and all the other footage that we took today for you. I can't wait to show you what we actually got up to on the track day itself. Anyway, as always, join in the comments. If you're not already subscribed, please do hit that subscribe button, support the channel, hit that like button if you enjoyed this. And if you disagree with me or agree with me, let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear your thoughts. As always, I welcome your thoughts, opinions and comments, and I look forward to having a chat with you in the coming days after this video goes out. Have a fantastic Easter, and I'll see you on the next one.